Yeah, welcome back. It's still the conversation on Morning Spring, and this morning we have been discussing on the HND BSc dichotomy controversy that resurfaced after an announcement was made by the head of the head of civil service, that's the Federal Civil Service, Dr. Folashade Yemi, saying that HND holders who are in the civil service and want to transition from the executive level to the officer cadre must actually go through a one-year mandatory training for them to achieve that. This has actually generated controversy as people have actually brought about the discussion of the HND-BSc dichotomy, saying that the discrimination against the higher national diploma holders must stop. We have been having this conversation with Dr. Oluyemi Omotosho Jr., who has been making a case for the HND holders because, of course, that's his constituency. Am I right, sir?
Yeah, yeah, right.
Okay, so I'd like to go further to the foundation now because I'd just like to tackle things from the foundation. You know, in homes, when a child finishes, secondary school and wants to go to a higher institution, the first point of call is university.
Yes.
The parents want the child to go to a university. And even a child who doesn't meet up the university cutoff, the parents somewhat, talk them down and say, you see, your mates are the one going to universities. Okay, maybe you just go to polytechnic so you don't waste your time.
Wait another year.
Waste your time, or waste your time at home, or you wait
right.
another year. You know, don't you think this actually forms the mentality of Nigerians, of children, and also of parents to say, the university degree holders are higher than the polytechnic diploma
Yes,
holders.
I agree with you.
And they tend to fly high.
Yeah, higher. Let me even put it further. HND students in my school, in most polytechnics, in HND 1, if they gain admission to university, they will still go. They will leave, they will abandon the HND.
They leave the program.
They have finished HND, they have done 1 year industrial training, they are in HND 1. They will still leave. Even some HND 2 students will gain admission to university and still go. Some of them are writing jam. It is the perception of the society. That's why I'm appealing to the civil service, the head of service, the universities, to ensure that the money being spent on the polytechnics is so enormous that this discrimination should not occur at all. Whatever is necessary to place the polytechnics at par with the universities should be done. Let me give you an example. Why people are agitating and the controversy continues because some people are seeing reason why the polytechnics should exist because they are good. In my own home, let me use my brother-in-law as an example. My brother-in-law read welding from Efuru, Institute of Technology, Efuru.
Delta State.
Delta State. My wife read BSc Economics from Unilag. Their first child read law. And my father-in-law, late now, was a retired naval officer. We always say this one I can't go to university. This one I can't do. Now, when this guy finished, when I joined them, I started encouraging him that, look, when I'm married, I said, look, don't worry. The sky is the limit. Today, the man who read welding is the richest in the home, in that family. My wife is struggling now to put our children to go and read welding university. No, the BSc read. Wait till they get now. That my brother-in-law is changing job. It's always in the rig. As I talk to you, he has worked in Daewoo, he has worked in West African Pipeline, he has worked in so many oil companies. He rejected NNPC and went for an international company. As I'm talking now, he's in the rig. He did welding engineering, and it's good. So it is the perception of the society. And that's why we are appealing that the universities and the civil service, these are the elites who are engineering the discrimination. And they are the people who can actually lower it. And I'm appealing to them. Since they have seen that these polytechnics are good, and government is spending a lot of money, 179 polytechnics. You have lecturers, you have non-academic staff, you have building, you have structure. Come to our school and see structure. How can you have all this and you allow it to wait? Whatever is necessary, they should do it. That was what the scheme of service was supposed to correct. Unfortunately, they came out with more problems. And even when they come out with more problems, I'm still appealing to them. They should look at the problem and correct it. Let them be at par. Let performance be the main thing. And so Nigeria can develop. You bar talents by saying when somebody is in the polytechnic, is not good for anything. That is wrong. A good number of them are good. A good number of them are brilliant. There was a secretary in our office here before, and then the United Nations interview people, and then this OTM thing they are doing. You know, they interview so many people, BSc, HND, and I tell you, that guy came first. Today has been in the United Nations. He finished from the HND, this what they call secretarial studies before, now OTM. When we were doing the NIMN exam, organized by Lever Brothers, for 3 consecutive years, the first position was from the Polytechnic. You know, and so there are good graduates from the universities, there are good graduates from the Polytechnic, there are bad ones from both sides. And then the Polytechnic must complement the university until we get that into our score and our administrators understand that. An administrator or an engineer cannot work alone. You need the assistance, the collaboration of the technician to actually achieve your objective. And that is the essence. The essence of technical and vocational education is for technological development. And then, because it's for that, they should collaborate. Everybody should be able to get to the peak of his profession.
Fair enough. Doctor, you made a point, Dr. Omotosho Jr., that you appealed to the decision makers at the civil service, the head of service herself, and you appeal to university. I dare say the universities will not help in this matter because they would rather protect their own constituency, so to speak, because we are talking about making polytechnics look better and for them to have a good condition of service. But 2 points. Number one is this: you have ruled out, high flyers that went to polytechnics and are doing fantastically well, in their choice of it. When there are competitions that you have mentioned, exam test, you've said that, HND holders fly high as well. Number one, do you think there should be events or programs or symposium, by different polytechnics coming out with high flyers from their schools to show to the world that this is our own, we are doing well? That's number one. Number two is this: let's speak to the quality of education in general in Nigeria. You've just said it, and that's the truth. You have high flyers from universities, the ones that are not doing well, and high flyers in polytechnics, and the ones that are bad product as well. Let's speak to the quality of education. BSc, HND holders, we still have people, who go into teaching profession, the NCE. Now, what is really the quality of education? Because you've seen interviews attended by supposed graduates, and they can't even make, I'm not even talking about being proficient, English speakers, but they can't even make a sound or basic,
a complete sentence.
A complete sentence, something that you can comprehend. And apart from the use of language, you see that, who is this exactly? What have you gone to do? Let's speak to the quality of education. But firstly, how about polytechnics have, come out with an arrangement to show that we are good?
Blowing their own trumpet.
Over the years, they have been doing this. Their inventions.
So that people doesn't see them as second fiddle in everything.
Over the years, there are inventions in many polytechnics. The problem is the problem of education. Who are the people to put money for the implementation and commercialization of this invention? They are not there. There are so many inventions. You see some by China, by South Korea. Some Nigerians have done it in the universities and the polytechnics. But there is no fund to commercialize it. Mind you, Tech Fund is assisting now. Tech Fund is assisting to an extent, and then there is still positive of fund.
Tech Fund is for all.
It's for all. Tech Fund is assisting. That's why some master's degree holders can go for university, for PhD holders abroad and come back, and then, they are sponsoring inventions and the rest of it. And it is good. If they continue in that, it is fine. The polytechnics have been showcasing themselves. And then showcasing themselves, the problem is still the perception of the society. And it is the elites, at least by the civil service and the university. I know what I'm saying. The universities has a lot to say and to implement for the polytechnic. They must see the polytechnics as one of them. The academicians too, they can be trained. The fact that they are not doing master's degree and the rest of them does not make them to be, they are not the same. They can't be the same. And they can only be the same when you start the BTech. And when you have this BTech, then that means they can do master's and PhD. Until that time, the technical and vocational education is an entity on its own that should be allowed to grow for anybody who is there to achieve the best. Look, we have about 130 technical schools, these 3 centers. About 20 belong to the federal government and the rest are for state. They are all abandoned now. Now, all these technical schools are supposed to take care of our artisans.
There's a technical school in Oshogbo here.
Yeah, there is one. And then maybe it's not functional. What you see is
Federal Technical School in Elisha. We have one.
We have one in Oshogbo. And what you have is, if you have those people, they are the technicians who will help you here to assist you, to service what you are doing. But they are not recognized. And that's why those schools have been abandoned. How can Nigeria be spending huge resources to train people, and then you use your own agencies again to say they are not good? Why are you setting up? As I'm talking to you, the last camp, the Buhari administration set up about 6 polytechnics in various places. Jonathan came here and said, any state that doesn't have a polytechnic, he gave them one again. So you are setting them up, and then you are discriminating. Discrimination should stop. Now, to come to the quality of education, yes, it is sad, because even us as lecturers, we are complaining. The feeders from the old level is ridiculous. And then the graduates we have, again, a big problem. Our level of education, the quality of education is going down. And that is why you see all those graduates you say cannot defend their certificate. It's quite unfortunate. And corruption has taken over. Like I used to say here, corruption is endemically pervasive in Nigeria. You are aware of a lady who confessed some days ago that he has to bribe, say to his lecturer to get his certificate. That kind of student should not graduate.
That she paid in kind.
That she paid in kind and got certificate. Corruption is endemic in Nigeria. It is same in the universities and the polytechnics. And so it is affecting our outputs. And then the only way is that leadership should be seen to be incorruptible until we get to that level. This corruption in the society, anytime they are blaming police, the police is part of the society. The universities and polytechnics are part of the society. If corruption is endemic in the universities and the polytechnics and colleges of education, you expect it to affect the graduates. And that is what is happening. The quality of education is coming down. When we are growing up, what is the age level for you to enter a university? Now, you see somebody who is less than 15 or 14 is already in the university.
Doesn't matter.
It may not matter, but at least let's see the background. Where are you coming from? What are your antecedents? Is it good? If it's good, no problem. But if it is not good, how do you move on? And again, you see people getting certificates they didn't work for. You see lecturers compromising standards everywhere. You are aware of a lecturer that was jailed here in Osun State from OAU. I know him very well. And then those things happen everywhere. It's only that man was caught. It happens everywhere. I am saying that
sex for grade.
Corruption has actually affected the standard of our education. And the universities and polytechnics are supposed to be centers of excellence. If they are centers of excellence, corruption does not allow them to thrive. That is what is affecting the output. And until that is looked into, until we have a charismatic leader who can actually fight corruption properly, we get nowhere. All this one we are saying, we don't want to go, we will now go to quality. The quality of education in the university and the polytechnic and colleges is going down every day. When you are looking for a job, it's Imam Madu, who you know. And if it is who you know, recruitment system, how do you move on? I give you an example of a lecturer that was employed as assistant lecturer. And they gave him the first course to go and teach. And he came to me and he said, okay, you cannot enter class. I said, why? Because you have upper credit. He couldn't face the class. He couldn't teach because he doesn't know the course. He has to be converted to non-academic staff. It abounds everywhere. Corruption has taken over the standard. And over the years, you see less of corruption in the ivory towers. And that is when Nigeria was good. But Doctor, it is no more like that now.
We understand we should go now, but if I understand that, Evelyn might have a question. But for me, lastly, the issues with our education, because we are now talking about the quality, there are many.
Yeah.
Funding, paying attention, and doing what is necessary. But now, ASU, they are breathing down the neck of the federal government, breathing down the neck of the nation. You always have NASU, ASU, all of them, we always have issues. And they have the agitations. And the damage that these strike actions, they are causing,
unfortunate.
it's unfortunate. You can never even estimate it, because these are anybody that wastes your time is wasting your life. The students are the receiving end. We spoke with ASU president yesterday, Professor Oshodeke, and he said, if there is anybody that should be appealed to, it's the government, because they, for 1 year, have been making appeal to the government that they want to meet with this Tinubu-led administration, that nobody is answering them. And very soon they will be left with no option. I'm talking about challenges with our education.
Yes.
Shall we continue to go on like this?
We can't. And let me say this. We should give thanks to ASU. And ASU, it was ASU that fought for third fund. Minus third fund, our educational institution could have become moribund.
But some of these unions, sorry, doctor, some of these unions, some persons will say they are self-serving.
No. If third fund is doing a lot of job, and you know the money in third fund is from taxes by the private sector. And that is the money that if we place everything on government, most institutions will have been moribund. Look, federal government is not funding education. The accepted standard is 26%. They don't even meet 9%. So if you come to institution, you feel sad. See, you have a class of, like, say, carrying capacity maybe 300. No, corruption is there. Carrying capacity is maybe 120. And the number of people in the class will be about 300. That's corruption.
Students even sit on the floor.
Again, that 140 in that class, the class capacity is 60. So you see people hanging on the window to take notes. Our standard is poor. When we were in school, it has always been like this, and it's unfortunate. Until education is the bedrock of development, until we start funding education properly, we go nowhere. When we are in the university, what you see is this: if you don't bathe by 4 a.m., by 5, you can't enter the bedroom. It's flooded with water, and people will have defecated there. And students, when they defecate, they start carrying block. They mount the feces. And then somebody will, that is the kind of hostel.
That's an individual thing.
No. This is an institution that if it is well funded, the number of people in the hostel will not be that number. I was in Oxford, and I was the only person in the room. And that room is convertible.
But you paid for it?
Yes, we pay for it. Once you are going on holiday, you signify intention to stay in school or go. If you say you want to stay, you pay for they turn the hostel to hotel. You pay as if you are a guest. Once you resume, you are there like a student. And as a student, they change your benches, they maintain the room for you. Again, we are not paying the cost of education, I agree with you, but poverty is here. The poverty here does not make Nigerian citizens to be able to pay the cost of education. The cost of education is high. But at the same time, government will fund it. If government, all these mogos and months we are hearing, 90 billion stolen, 100 billion naira embezzle, 90 billion for Hajj, 90 billion for Israel, can be you. You are giving 90 billion for Hajj, and you are giving 5 billion for student loan. Where do we start? Education should be the first priority. I think I should appeal to government to improve its funding system and put more attention on tertiary institutions, secondary, and even primary, because those are the feeders. It is a big problem for us to handle a student who has 6 distinctions and cannot write simple and correct English.
All right, thank you so much, Doctor. You know, that's a good call to the government to prioritize education. Educationist Public Affairs Analyst, Dr. Omotosho Jr. Thank you so much for your submission and thoughts this morning. We sincerely appreciate you.
Thank you.
And that's where we'll pull the brakes on the show this morning on Morning Spring. Thank you for being a part of our world today. We make a return tomorrow for another interesting conversation. You can watch a recap of this particular show on our different social media platforms on YouTube, at Western Spring Television, on Instagram, Facebook, and X at Western Spring Television. My name is Evelyn Ohiolei.
All right, and in whatever you do, be the best version. You know, Femi Ojo is my name. God willing, we meet tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your day. And as we've been saying since last week till now, there is cholera. Please be responsible. Take care of yourself.